Hello everyone, and welcome to the Tarot with Titania reading of the week for January 7th to the 14th. I hope you've enjoyed your first week of this year, 2022. Let's get started, shall we? I invite you to close your eyes and join me in taking 3 deep breaths. And the reason why we do this is to bring our energies into sync across time and space, wherever you are. And just see a true root coming down out of the base of your spine, anchoring you deep in this present moment. Knowing that Mother Earth is holding you in a beautiful way, and that true root is grounding you, not only in the here and now, but it is also a conduit through which anything that no longer serves you can easily pass down into Mother Earth and become compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and my intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we collectively and personally most need to receive right now for this week of January 7th to the 14th, 2022. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that we most need to receive right now, and to bring that through me in a manner that will be easily and effortlessly heard, understood, and integrated for our personal and collective highest and greatest good. I invite my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future to be present to facilitate this exchange. I invite an overlighting angel of communication to be with us and ensure that we cover all that is in our collective heart and mind at this time for our highest and greatest good, so that we can be grounded, peaceful, coherent, aligned, and bringing our best forward into life at this time. I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, creating a sacred container of light, of love, of wisdom, of beauty, of healing, of transformation, of peace. Indeed, of anything that is in our collective heart and mind. May it be brought to this circle in a good way to be transmuted, if it needs to be, into light, into the good. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. Thank you for coming, and thank you for holding us all together in a beautiful way. A rainbow of light around this planet, holding this world in a glorious net of light. All the light workers, wherever they are, whether they're connected to these readings or not, we're all in this together. Anything that doesn't match these frequencies now is welcome to go. Let's get to it. So I just wanted to say that the New Year's reading was so much fun, and it made me realize how I think I'm in a little bit of a rut with the weekly readings. So if you have any inspiring thoughts for me, please send them along. I appreciate all of you who are listening, and I want to continue to be of service, but I want this to be an uplifting experience and to keep my energy high. So as I said, if you have any thoughts about what you'd like to see or where we could go with the readings, I'm open and willing to explore those with you, with the intention always for our collective and highest, personal and collective highest and greatest good, so that we can transcend whatever blocks and limitations are on the planet, keeping us from being all that we can be and shining our light brightly. Okay, with that said, let's get moving. So our intention, of course, is what do we need to know this week? January 7th to the 14th, 2022. Range of people expressing different things about 2022, from feeling it's horrible to excited and anticipatory about the change and the transformation that it could represent for us. I'm of that latter camp. Let's keep it uplifting and positive. So what do we need to know this week for our personal and collective highest and greatest good, so that we can be all that we're here to be and more? Become the broadest and wisest expression and best version of ourselves. Recent past, the influence is waning, but it continues into the present, into the future. And we have the card of opposition, the 7 of Swords. So this influence is waning, but it continues into our present, as I was saying. So the 7 of Swords, if you see, she's wandering along, and she's a gloved hand, and she's holding something, whatever's precious to her, in her gloved hand, close to her heart, and she's fending off the swords with her bare hands, which would seem illogical. So this card is all about the energy of opposition, and I think we're all pretty familiar with that by now. You know, it's been such a strange time, and there's such strange things coming out in the media, and people are saying weird things and behaving in an odd manner, and it's just strange, so strange. The astrologer I like to follow, Pam Gregory, she said that 2022 would be a year of revelations and revolutions. And hopefully those are revolutions of the good kind that take us forward in good ways. That's how I'm going to hold them at any rate. But this energy of holding what's precious close to our hearts and protecting it against all this spiky, strange energy. That's where we're coming from this week. That's the energy that we're going into this week with, is sort of this feeling of, you know, I guess being guarded and being uncertain about letting our true self shine brightly. There's so much opposition for people who are speaking up in a way that may be counter to the mainstream narrative, which is counter to our human nature. We're here to be the uniquely expressed individuals that we're here to be. We all have different gifts, we all have different perspectives, and this is a gift to ourselves and to humanity. And the more we deny it as a civilization or as a collective, the more we're diminishing our greatness as humanity. And so this is problematic. And it's problematic for anybody who's feeling an inability to express themselves. And yet there's this feeling of preciousness. Life is precious. What we're holding in our hearts, our unique vision and expression, who we are is precious, and it's worth protecting. It's worth saving in the face of the adversity, holding on to as we navigate that, defending ourselves with our bare hands, so to speak. It's kind of an interesting card. Yeah. Onward and upward, hey? Present card. Sorry for the glare. There we go. Maybe that helps a bit. The Princess of Hearts. New beginnings on the level of the heart. That is the card of the present. So sort of the energy of what we'll be exploring this week is this new beginnings on the level of the heart. Hopefully this is an indication that we will be experiencing more kindness and compassion and willingness to open our hearts and to find common ground rather than being in opposition and having to defend ourselves, so that we can be a clearing of understanding and compassion and kindness and love for someone who maybe holds a different perspective than we do. You know, again, who are we in our human form? Are we an evolved human form, or are we a diminished human form? What are we wanting to bring into our life? Are we small? Are we more on the lower end of the evolutionary spectrum, or are we in the higher end of the evolutionary spectrum? Because if we're causing division, if we're if we're making another person wrong for being who they are, then that's not very evolved, is ultimately what it comes down to. So I think what this card is talking about, the sense that I'm getting with it, is this new beginning is on the level of the heart. Finding a new way to relate to ourselves, finding a new way to relate to each other from a place of kindness, respect, and willingness to be open to just being with each other wherever we are. In the near future, the card of abundance, the Nine of Pentacles, and this is always a lovely card. I rather like this one. It's just this reminder that nature is abundant, life is abundant, and when we line ourselves up with the energies of the universe, when we line ourselves up with the energies that are on the planet at this time, that we are all, how could I say, it's like we're all in a river, and this river is moving in a particular direction, and when we try to go upstream, we get beat up pretty well. But when we go with the river and we flow with the river and we experience appreciation for life and for the beauty that surrounds us, for the people who are in our lives, who maybe are rubbing our feathers the wrong way, so that we can have a new perspective. Getting into a state of gratitude and appreciation is part of that flow of abundance. It softens our hearts, it opens us up, and it lines us up with the energies of the universe. It lines us up with that river that we are all immersed in at the moment. So being intentional about this is really powerful. Finding this place of recognizing the abundance, the blessings in our lives, counting our blessings, being in that state of blessedness and existing in it will serve us very well. This week, what we need to be giving our attention to is trusting that we're being taken care of, that everything that we need is being provided for us. And we can relax and go with the flow and trust that it's all working out for us on some higher level, even if there's a lot of shenanigans and kookiness. Somebody said to me, get yourself some popcorn and watch the movie. I'm like, oh boy, interesting times for sure. So the foundation card, why we're having the reading this week. What is it that is underlying this reading this week? And we have the card of sacrifice, the Eight of Hearts. And this is a card of a lot of emotion, a lot of, I always think of tears when I see this card, because I guess the hearts are upside down and they're sort of tear-shaped and they're falling from the person here at the top. And we have this waterway here at the bottom. We're talking about the river of life and the fish swimming in that waterway. And water, of course, represents emotions. And this card is very much about the flow of emotion at this time. It's not an easy time. We've just come through Christmas, which has its usual kind of perks. The excitement, the anticipation, the I guess for this year, for a lot of people, you were fortunate if you were able to be with your loved ones, and if you weren't, that of course cast a pall on things. But it seems, usually in January it's a bit of a downer. After all that excess at Christmas, we all overindulge in yummy things, and we tend to have a bit of a letdown afterwards. So that's typically the energy of January. And this card to me speaks a little bit to that. It speaks to just being so tired of all of the shenanigans, the circus, the opposition, the breakdown in our relationships, and the polarity, and how, inherently it's not serving life, it's not serving us to have that kind of division going on. And it's exhausting. And I think this card is talking about that, is talking about just that state of emotional exhaustion. If you're here and you're feeling this, my heart goes out to you. Do something nice for yourself. And I don't mean eat a bucket of ice cream or a whole chocolate cake. I mean, take yourself out for a walk and go hug a tree. Be nice to yourself. See if you can connect with somebody over Zoom or in person who has your heart, who gets you, and who can speak with you and hold you in a good way. Find something. If you have a creative outlet, go spend time doing that. These are all really, really important things that can nourish us when we're in this down state. I'm talking to myself here too, because, I have to say, it just feels like just not a very inspiring time. But we'll get through it, because we do. Humanity is resilient, personally and collectively. We are. But we do have to take care of ourselves so we can keep resilient. We can stay resilient, do what we need to do. And some of those things are drink enough clean water, stay away from the sugar, the alcohol, other things that don't serve you. It's okay. You could take a break from those for a little while and nourish yourself. Eat really good food. Lots of vegetables, as much as possible. Plant-based is always a good thing. Green smoothies. I know it's winter and some people say, raw, not so good. But I don't think it's such a bad thing to have a green smoothie every now and then. Maybe just warm it up to room temperature first. I don't know. Get outside and move. Move your body. Our body needs to move. The lymphatic system needs to move. It requires our circulating our vehicle in order for it to function effectively. And of course, the lymphatic system really needs to work, especially if we've been toxic over the holidays. So a thought for you. And of course, lowering your stress and getting enough rest. to the best of your ability, get a good sleep. And you may want to consider turning off your Wi-Fi because it's electromagnetic energy, which can be, we're electromagnetic beings, so it's got to have an impact on some level. And why not? You could take a break from that. That's okay. You're going to sleep anyway. Put your phone on airplane mode and maybe no screens an hour before going to bed, because that blue light from the screens can be stimulating, as I understand it, to our eyes. So some things that we can do for self-care to navigate this feeling. We can be bigger than this. We can parent ourselves through this. We can take responsibility for ourselves and say, yeah, I'm feeling not so good, and I'm going to find the things that will help me to feel a little bit better and nurture myself into that better feeling space. Because it's okay. We're all here. We all have these moments. It's okay to acknowledge that, to recognize it and be there. And it's okay to take care of ourselves and transcend it too. So I think that's pretty straight up this week. This feeling of opposition, if you spent the holidays with your family and there were discussions and it was intense, maybe it was hard, maybe you just have a hard dynamic, I don't know. But this energy of just feeling spiky, feeling like you have to protect yourself, feeling like you have to not be so vulnerable, this energy of newness in the heart, new opening, new awareness of how we can be kinder to others. And as a result, shifting that whole energy. When we shift ourselves, the whole universe shifts. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. It's amazing. Turning to gratitude, recognizing how blessed we are, shifting from a state of lack and opposition and going to unity and abundance and beauty and understanding how we are all connected and looking for evidence of that. Where our attention goes is where our energy flows, and it's what we pull into our experience. And there's nothing to help shift us more powerfully than the energy of gratitude. And the energy of abundance is related to gratitude, because those two things go together. Feeling abundance, feeling gratitude flows more abundance into our experience. Feeling more gratitude flows more abundance. It's like this circular kind of thing. So if you can shift into a more abundant and flow state, open to the receptivity, open yourself to the receiving of the energy of the universe, it'll serve all of us really well. And then this feeling of emotional doneness, put a fork in me, I'm baked, that's it, I'm done, no more. That's okay. We know what we need to do about this. We have to take care of ourselves. We may need to parent ourselves this week, bring ourselves down off the high of the holiday or the excesses of the holiday, do a little cleanse, a little bit of nutrition. It will serve us very well. And, just feeling, again, overwhelm and doneness. I think we all know what that feels like. But doing what fills your cup, taking care of yourself. You can't help anybody else if you're exhausted, if you're empty, if you don't have anything left to give. So figure out what you need to do to fill your cup. It'll serve you very, very well. Even if it means you need to sleep a lot for a few days. It is the depths of winter, here in the Northern Hemisphere. And that's what winter's all about. It's about going inward and being quiet and listening to our inner wiser self, connecting with that energy, being still, and letting that stillness permeate us and clear us so that we can function more adequately. Okay, I'm going to go to the card to grow on. I hope these readings are helpful to you. My intention is that they serve our collective highest and greatest good and our personal highest and greatest good. And that you get what you need so that you can thrive. Okay, so our card to grow on, Creator. What is it that we need to know this week? What do we need to carry with us? What mindfulness, what focus, what attention, what is it that we need most to shine and thrive and be all that we need to be? So that's a really nice card. It's the card of success, the 10 of Hearts. It's about community. It's about celebration. It's about being full in our hearts, feeling blessed, and cultivating that feeling of blessedness. I think this card is very much connected to that future card that we got, that abundance card, that card of gratitude and appreciation. This is very similar energy. It's recognizing how blessed we are and looking into our world for evidence of that. It's again this, where attention goes is where our energy is going to flow. So where are you putting your attention? Where are we putting our attention? And is it what we want to be giving our attention to? What are we feeding with our thoughts and our, attention, that energy that is us? Where we look, where we're putting our thoughts and our energy is what we're giving life force to and animating. We have a responsibility to take responsibility for what we're feeding. So this idea of success, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you not only personally? What would that represent for you? A successful life, a beautiful life, a fulfilled life. Maybe give that a little bit of thought this week. And what would it look like for us collectively? What would we know? How would we know we'd succeeded as a society? A few things that come to my mind are the cleaning up our water, cleaning up our air, cleaning up the soil, cleaning up the pollution, living a little bit more mindfully, maybe consuming a little bit less. But all of these things to me would be signs of success, that we as humanity were growing up and finally taking responsibility not only for ourselves, but for our relationship to life and our place on this planet. So this card to grow on this week is counting blessings again, but also what would success mean to you? And not in a way to judge yourself and measure your life and make yourself wrong if you haven't achieved it, but to provide an impetus, an inspiration, something that you can grow with. Understanding that if your life isn't the way you want it right now, it doesn't mean that it can't change, even if you don't see how that's going to shift. We're here to co-create magnificently. We have it within us. We have amazing talent. We're incredibly resilient. And even if you find yourself in a place where right now you cannot even begin to fathom how it could shift in a direction that would be more satisfying and fulfilling to you, don't worry. Life has got your back, and things will move in the right direction in the perfect moment for you. But give yourself permission to be curious and playful and look at that idea of success. And is your definition of success, what you hold as success, is it something that is authentically yours? Or is it an outside-in message, something that you've been given by society to think is how you're going to measure to life? We right now are being called to live authentically and to give over these old stories of what other people think we should be doing and to start living truthfully from the heart outwards. It's only by doing this that our gifts and our uniqueness will come to the surface and be expressed. And the world needs that right now. We need that authentic, inspired, expressed uniqueness of each human individual on the planet at this time to help shift the collective in amazing ways. So, our card to grow on is pondering success, personally and collectively, and dreaming that into life a little bit. Not the failures, the good stuff. And with that, I invite you to take a nice deep breath with me. Put your hand on your heart. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here across time and space with all of your children who've tuned in. I ask that you be with each and every one of us as we navigate these dark days of deep winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. And just send love and light out to each and every one of you, to all those you love, to those in your community, to our leaders, to all those who are holding positions of power and authority in our time. I ask, Creator, that you open their hearts and light them up so they can distinguish truth and beauty, and they can shed the darkness and line up with integrity and congruence, recognizing the flow of life and how it always serves more life. and adding to that life in beautiful and perfect ways. I ask that you take care of each and every one of the people who are listening in this recording now. Shine your light into their hearts. Bring them out of their personal darkness if they find themselves there. And if they're already in a space of light, may they share that light in good ways, in right way, with all those they meet. I want to thank all those who help to hold the space every week for these readings, who support me in the work that I do. I want to thank my wonderful partner, my beautiful daughter, and all of you for being part of my life, for being part of my circle, and for doing your good work on this planet. Much love and light to you. Have a beautiful week. And if you have any thoughts, I just ask that you include them down below. Or I'll have to think about how you could reach out to me if writing them in the public comments is too much. I'll look forward to hearing from you. Lots of love and light. Bye for now.